Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that the information that we provide is very useful to you as you begin to go ahead and transition over to Cal Poly Pomona. We're definitely going to go ahead and talk a little bit more into details with regards to the ADT. You will hear us abbreviate specific terms, so if you hear me say ADT, just be mindful that it will stand for the Associate's Degree for Transfer. And yes, so with that said, thank you so much for joining. My name is Edward Nava. I am the Outreach Coordinator for Project Aminos here at Cal Poly Pomona. This presentation is brought to you by in collaboration with the Registrars Office, and I will have them introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Camry Carls and I'm the lead transfer and graduation advisor here at Cal Poly. And I'll hand it over to Gus.
Hello everybody, my name is Agustin Martinez, but everybody knows me as Gus, and I'll be presenting alongside Camry for the Registrars Office portion, and I am a transfer and graduation advisor here at Cal Poly Pomona. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you both. So with that said as well, if you can go ahead and let us know in the chat what institution you're coming from, whether it's a high school or community college, feel free to go ahead and use it. That way we can kind of get an engagement or sense of where we're coming from. So perfect. You see Monsac. Alrighty, we will go ahead and jump into the presentation. So with regards to an ADT, right? So essentially an ADT, you are applying, when you apply to it, you're essentially going for actually 2 degrees. The first one being done at the community college, in which you would receive your associate's degree for transfers in arts or your sciences. So again, there is 2, so AAT or AST. And as well as once you do transition to the CSU system of your choice, you will have the opportunity to go ahead and work for that bachelor's degree. Again, you're setting up your pathway to go ahead and not only receive your AAT, but your bachelor's of arts or bachelor's in science. So you have those 2 routes. One of the things that we do want to go ahead and mention with regards to the ADT is that there is a specific not workshop, but a specific link that will provide you with a little bit more of guidance as to what majors at the community college with the ADT path is deemed similar here at Cal Poly Pomona. And so we'll be sharing with you in just in the next coming slides this information. So yeah, always make sure that it is deemed similar. So here are some of the things that students, or at least things that the ADT does for you, and some of the things that it does not do for you. One of them, at least, we'll go ahead and start with the pros, right? So one of them is that it does guarantee admissions to a CSU campus. Not necessarily specific to the one of your choice, but again, it does provide you with a guarantee admissions to a CSU campus. The other thing is that if you are submitting an application for a local CSU that is nearby your community college that you're currently attended, it will provide you with that priority admissions consideration. So definitely consider those who or the institutions that are local to you. And if you're applying to an ADT, just because you do get that priority admissions consideration. So definitely do that. The other thing is, or at least transition over to the things that it doesn't do for students. The first one is being that it does not guarantee admissions to the top choice. So like say if you only apply to one campus because that's the top choice, again, it doesn't guarantee necessarily admissions to that campus, but that's why it's always important to apply. If you're applying to multiple ones, it will again guarantee admissions to a CSU campus. The other thing is that once you do apply to an ADT, students will not have the opportunity to go ahead and change the major if they are planning to stay on that path. So you cannot change a major or declare a minor or a second major as well. Again, this is a pathway to go ahead and start from the community college and finish your years, get your degree there, transition over to your CSU campus, and then finalizing your last 2 years to get your bachelor's degree. Now, with regards to now a degree at the community college being deemed similar to the CSU campus. So as I mentioned earlier, there is a specific website, and I will go ahead and paste it over onto the chat box in case you'd like to go ahead and review it at a later time. But this specific website, you are able to go ahead and, nope, there we go. You're able to go ahead and look for the major of your interest, whether that's, say, for example, as we have it selected there, business administration, and we are selecting just because Cal Poly Pomona is near to these three institutions. We select those, and then we select Cal Poly Pomona. We want to see or verify that these workshops are essentially deemed similar. They will go ahead and provide you with the specific routes that it does provide and deem similar at Cal Poly Pomona. So you will have the opportunity to go ahead and select the campus that you're currently attending, selecting the major that you want to go into, and as well as Cal Poly Pomona. Since we're talking about Cal Poly Pomona, we're selecting that campus. But you'll see that in this case, Chaffey, Citrus, and Mount Sac does have a specific route for business administration, and it also does emphasize the specific routes or the pathways of that specific ADT. So in just a second, it'll go ahead and show us. So it has it for e-business from Chaffey, has it for Citrus, and it has it for Mount Sac. And again, it gives you all of that information there. With regards to now specifically declaring the ADT process and the next steps as well. So if currently you are planning to apply for the fall 2022, essentially the process begins at the community college, and this even applies to those who are applying or applied for this fall 2021. Normally the process will go ahead and need to be initiated at the community college that you are currently attending. The general requirements would be meeting a minimum of 60 CSU transferable units. The other part is that you can go ahead and complete the CSU GE or the ADT pattern as well. With regards to your major requirements, minimum GPA would be a 2.0 GPA. And one very important thing that I would like to go ahead and emphasize, because I've seen it in the past, is that students some of the times think that they applied for the ADT, but when it comes down to their transcripts, it doesn't reflect that they've been awarded the ADT. So always check back. The other thing, or at least if I were to provide any suggestions perhaps, is if you do send your electronic transcripts to an institution, or you request official transcripts, make sure that perhaps you want to request one for yourself. That way you're able to verify the transcript, that it does reflect that it's been awarded. It'll normally have an issue date that you completed the ADT, and it'll go ahead and indicate like an AAT or AST completed, and it'll go ahead and reflect on the transcript. But always make sure that it is reflected there, or else you may need to go ahead and come back to the community college to go ahead and letting them know that you applied and that it was awarded. However, your transcript is not reflecting it, and they will be able to help you out. Now, that is in the community college process. So again, the next portion of it, for some of us, we've already passed this in terms of the Cal State Apply. If you are planning, if you submitted your application, you were able to go ahead and indicate that you will be completing your ADT at the community college. And again, this is pretty much pending on the final official transcript. So once you submit them, then it will go ahead and reflect there. The ADT does need to be completed no later than the spring term prior to the fall enrollment. So by the end of this spring, it does need to be completed. And then similar for the spring enrollment, it needs to be completed by the summer term. So you have those things to go ahead and consider. So for those who are planning to apply in the future, just be mindful that you can go ahead and self-report that you will be completing an ADT. If you're, like, say for example, you're planning to apply for the fall 2022. Now, once you come over to a CSU campus, at least now speaking in terms of Cal Poly Pomona, here at Cal Poly Pomona, you will be able to go ahead and complete, or you will need to go ahead and complete 9 units of upper division general education. So at the community college, you're able to go ahead and complete which would be the lower general education courses, and normally these upper divisions are offered through the CSU campus. So Again, majority of the time, these courses will not be able to be taken at the community college, but more so they have to be taken at the CSU campus. Again, you have to go ahead and remain admitted in the major. And again, one of the other things is that you can go ahead and be able to participate if you showed or expressed interest in the application of the California Promise. That is pretty much a graduating pledge. That not only are you able to go ahead and be considered for it if you're aiming for the ADT route. If you are, then again, you can go ahead and you showed interest for that specific California Promise program. The perks about it is that if you follow your ADT route and you participate in the ADT in the California Promise program, it will go ahead and provide you with priority registration. So that's one of the biggest perks. Being able to go ahead and be part of that. Again, when you do decide to go ahead and say change your major, then some other things, next steps will definitely be provided. So again, if you know for sure that you're applying for an ADT route at the community college, to follow through at the CSU campus of your choice, we highly encourage you to go ahead and participate in the California Promise program to receive that priority registration, and as well as to go ahead and remain on track as to completing your degree. So with that said, I will go ahead and pass it over to our partners, the Registrars Office, to Gus and Camry, to go ahead and provide us with a little bit more information as to what that route looks like at Cal Poly Pomona. So with that, I'll pass it over to them.
Thank you, Edward. Hello again, everyone. I just wanted to give you all kind of a brief overview of the Registrar's Office here at Cal Poly Pomona in case there's any confusion about what our office does and what we're responsible for. But we can go ahead and go to the next slide. Like Gus and I mentioned before, we're both transfer and graduation advisors at Cal Poly. But our office consists mainly of two main areas. One is regarding records and registration, and that team within the Registrar's Office is composed of what we call record specialists, and they are primarily in charge of overseeing class registration, grading issues, changes of majors. So some of you have mentioned possibly wanting to change your major at one point. Our office is where you would request to do that after consulting with your advisors. They also process leaves of absences. If students need to take time away from Cal Poly and time away from their studies for a certain amount of time, you would request a leave of absence in that case. And they process other administrative functions regarding student records, such as things like name changes, address changes, anything regarding a student's record that would need to be updated for whatever reason. They oversee those processes. Also things like processing withdrawals, if students need to withdraw from a course, things like that. So that's their primary functions for that side of the office. The other main area is the group that Gus and I are part of, which is the evaluation and graduation team. We are composed now of a team of 8 or 9 transfer and graduation advisors. And each transfer and graduation advisors, we like to call them TGAs. So if you do transfer to Cal Poly at some point, that is what we're referred to as. And we work on evaluating and posting transfer work for continuing students. When you all first transfer to Cal Poly, your transcripts from other institutions like Mount Sac or Chaffey are going to go through the folks in our admissions office for the initial evaluation and posting of those units. But any other supplementary work that you might transfer in at another point will go through our office to evaluate and get those units posted to your record. The unique thing about Cal Poly is that our student body is kind of split in half between transfer students and then students that began at Cal Poly as freshmen. And so we really love our transfer students, and we really try to help transfer students the best we can and to make their transfer process as seamless as possible. So you'll be in good hands here. And then our team also is responsible for ultimately evaluating and posting a student's degree when the time comes for you all to graduate. And so part of our responsibility is evaluating your record at the very end of your academic career here, and then ultimately awarding your degree. And in the process, we are in constant communications with the colleges and the advisors with those colleges, and working with them to assess your record and make sure that you are on the right track towards graduation. So that's how we kind of fit into that scope. You can go to the next slide. And then I'll hand it over to Gus, so he can kind of go through more of the ADT process here at Cal Poly.
Hello, everybody. So yeah, I'm Gus, and thank you, Camry. Shout out to Sam for answering the questions. I'll look at the question right now. So in regards to processing the ADT, once confirmed by admission, student is identified as an ADT student and a message displays on their CPP degree progress report. So admissions will code you if you did come in as an ADT student. Students are connected with advisors in their college to access roadmaps and plan course selection. Transfer and graduation advisors partner with the college advisors to monitor student progress through the 60 units. And in order to be confirmed as an ADT student at CPP, the transcript with the ADT awarded needs to be submitted with the final transcript deadline for admissions. So you do need to have those transcripts ready and your degree listed on your official transcript that you submit to Cal Poly. And usually, I'm going to talk about business because that's just what I'm familiar with. For business, it will need to say business administration. So your degree, your ADT or AST should be in business administration in order for the agreements that we have with the community college to apply to your degree progress report. And then you will work in conjunction with your college advisor. So there are a lot of resources when you come to Cal Poly. You have your college advisor. If you're an EOP, you have an EOP advisor. You have us, TGAs, as a resource for more graduation and transfer type work. So you do have a lot of advising components and advisors to help you along the way. But for the ADT specifically, your college advisor will help you in regards to planning classes and coursework because you have an ADT. So it'd be best to work with your college advisor if you are working on your course planner with your ADT in your specific major. Okay, so the benefits of an ADT at Cal Poly. You do enter with junior standing. Continuing registration appointments are based on class standing, so that's a huge benefit because you already come in as a junior. Students enter GE with lower division GE certification. This means that your lower division GEs will be taken care of if you come in as an ADT. And recently, our software, which is PeopleSoft, got an upgrade. And so now it's a lot cleaner. Before it was a little bit, mixed up with what was covered and what isn't. So now with the new PeopleSoft update, your lower division GE area is pretty much erased. And it only appears, and only your upper division GE requirements appear. So it's very clean cut. And it's a huge benefit to have that now. Students have completed some lower division major requirements and prerequisites are satisfied for upper division courses. So because your ADT is usually specified, you complete a lot of those lower division requirements coming into Cal Poly. So again, so to put example as business, your accounting 2070, your 2080, your financial and managerial accounting should be taken care of. Your finance and real estate introductory class should be taken care of because we have those initial agreements with the community college and the ADT. And then with the ADT, you have a guarantee of graduating within 60 units. So because your advisors and your college knows that you're coming in with that ADT, your plan is catered to keep you within that 60 unit mark. So, you have that guarantee of finishing within those 2 years if that's what your plan is. Things to keep in mind. So although there are a lot of benefits with ADT, be advised that the ADT is only applicable if you enter Cal Poly with a similar major. So again, like I mentioned with business, the degree does need to be in business administration. If you've got an AST specifically in accounting, we don't have a specific agreement for that, so it would have to be business administration. And that applies to, I believe, psychology as well. If you come in with psychology, it does need to be in psychology in order to have those ADT benefits. It is possible to, and that's the next point, it is possible to earn an ADT or AST at the community college and not be admitted into an ADT program at Cal Poly Pomona. So there needs to be an established agreement between the specific degree that you're getting and our college here at Cal Poly Pomona. Your lower division general education GE will be certified regardless of ADT admitted status at Cal Poly Pomona. All students are still required to complete 9 units of upper division GE. So one thing that is a guarantee of the ADT is that if you earn an ADT, it kind of works as a GE certification. So your lower division GE is coded, so you will have the lower division GE areas covered, but you still need to complete those 9 upper division GE courses. Cal Poly does have a blend of lower division GE and upper division GE. So there's 3 upper division GE courses that are not taken at the community college in areas B, area C, and area D. So you do need to take an additional 3-unit upper division course that applies to your to your GE program. So a lot of students get that confused. You'll get more established if you're going to any CSU. All CSUs have a blend or a combination of this. So whether you're coming to Cal Poly or another CSU, you will have to take 3 courses of 3 units of upper division that are counted into your GE program. And I think this question came up, so this is the page that's covering that. What if you decide to change your major, add a second major, or add a minor? Your ADT status is removed and the 60-unit guarantee no longer applies. And if you do this, graduation may be delayed. So the reason for that is because if you add a minor, if you change or add a major, or even if you change a major, for example, for some reason business and engineering students are usually correlated. So either engineering students move to business or business move to engineering. And so engineering starts with a higher GE requirement for the degree. So if you were to change to that, the ADT is no longer applied because your degree plan is going to require more units than the 120. If you add a second major, that will also add maybe not so much units, but it still will pass the 120 limit. And so that ADT guarantee is no longer because that ADT is guaranteeing that you finish within the 60 units. And the same applies for a minor. A minor is usually anywhere between 5 to 6 or more classes. So that's why it does change, and we can't guarantee that degree because the ADT is guaranteeing that you finish within that 2-year or 60-unit gap. And so be advised that it can delay your graduation. So if you have a plan to finish in 2 years, by adding that second degree or that second major minor, you will probably delay your graduation. Be informed about your associate degree for transfer. Get more information, and I hope this was helpful, and we will be answering more questions. Thank you.
The first one being a couple of resources for prospective students and perhaps for current students that are looking to get additional information. So the first one being a community college transfer center. So again, if you're planning to go ahead and start your ADT process, this is a time that you can go ahead and reach out to the community college that you're attending so that you can go ahead and receive additional information in regards to setting that ADT up for yourself. As I mentioned, the outreach and the pre-advising appointment that you can go ahead and set up, it'll be through outreach@cpp.edu, where you will be able to go ahead and reach out to them and set up that appointment with them. And then lastly, if you have any questions with regards to admissions, we can go ahead and have you reach out to the Office of Admissions. The next portion of it, so now additional resources for students that are currently admitted or have received your provisional admissions status. You have the Bronco Advising Center that will go ahead and help you out. Once you become a student, they do provide general education advising. They are more of like a one-stop place. So if you don't know, if you have a question and you don't know where to go about it, we definitely encourage you to stop by with regards or contacting the Bronco Advising Center for additional support and guidance. They will definitely help you out. And then we do have a poly transfer program or support program here at Cal Poly Pomona. So if you do have any questions or would like to know a little bit more information, fortunately, we have one of the representatives joining us today. His name is Sam, and if Sam is available, he can go ahead and provide us with a little bit more information as to what poly transfer is.
Awesome. Okay. Well, hey, welcome everybody. Cal Poly Pomona. I'm super excited for you and your transfer journey. I know you're probably thinking about a million questions right now, but what I want to share right now in the chat, Edward just shared it too. I shared the link for the Poly Transfer website. So the Poly Transfer program is a transfer receptive program on campus for transfer students. So if you ever have any questions or if you want to just touch base with us and see what services we offer transfer students at Cal Poly, reach out to us. Same thing with the Bronco Advising Center. Like Edward mentioned, it's a one-stop shop. For all of you interested at Cal Poly, transferring to Cal Poly, the Poly Transfer program has a summer transition program offered to a limited number of transfer students. So I always recommend that if Cal Poly is your choice and you want to go, sign up for the summer transition program. There's more information about it on our website. It's a great 3-day program during the summer, completely free, where you get to meet faculty, departments, advisors, and other transfers just like you. So if you have any more questions, I'll put my email on here. You can reach out to me anytime with any transfer questions, whether it's about the program or the pre-admission questions as well. Thanks, Edward.
Of course. Great. So I don't see any questions that came up in the time being. So with that, we are coming closer to our workshop. So we do want to go ahead and mention that because we are based off of a grant, any information or feedback that you are able to provide us through the survey would definitely be appreciated for submitting that. The survey does take 1 to 2 minutes to go ahead and complete. And then once you complete your workshop survey, you would be entered for an opportunity drawing of a $50 Amazon gift card, which we'll go ahead and the winner will be announcing June 1st. Again, the student side would be on the left side, the parent side on the right side. So we went ahead and provided you with the links as well through the chat. So feel free to go ahead and jot down any feedback. We would definitely appreciate it. Any feedback that you can go ahead and provide us would be appreciated. And now coming closer to our last slide, we just want to say thank you so much for being able to stay with us and for the 40 minutes that we're here. Hopefully a lot of this information was helpful in regards to your transition. If you're planning to go ahead and apply to Cal Poly Pomona, hopefully this ADT process at the community college. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to the registrars team. Sam from Poly Transfer, thank you so much for providing us with this information. We definitely appreciate it. And again, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.